Welcome to the Smarter Science of Slim, the scientifically proven program where you eat more and exercise less to burn fat and boost health.
Eat smarter, exercise smarter, live better. I am so ready for that.
Hey everybody, Jonathan Bailor and Carrie Brown back with the...
What are we to? Who are you? Bailor? Who's Bailor?
We've been doing a bit of a recording marathon, dear listeners, so hopefully this episode is as fun for you as it will be for the loopy Carrie Brown and Jonathan Bailor coming to you with another Smarter Science of Slim show. But the good news is, friends, that while we may be not fully cogent, the thing we're talking about today is actually a very, very cool subject, and I think will be very empowering for you. So that's good news.
You don't talk about anything that isn't cool.
Well, I think this is exceptionally cool because it again will blow up some of these calorie myths, which also happens to be the name of my new book. So please do check that out. And it's like these things that seem reasonable, but when you take a step back, they're not reasonable at all.
Awesome. Let's talk about unreasonableness.
Unreasonableness. So one of the major reasons that calorie counting is ridiculous is because it's impossible.
It is?
Well, so for example, let's forget about calories in for a second, and let's just talk about calories out. So calories out is... To appropriately count calories, right, you would need to know the amount of calories you're eating and the amount of calories you're burning. But the first problem is that when you change the number of calories, you take the same diet, the same quality of foods, and you just eat less of them, you burn fewer calories. And if you just eat more of them, you burn more calories. So
there's no standing... There's no baseline, this is how much you burn. So when you see those charts that say you burn X calories while you're sleeping, that's not a constant. That's
exactly right. That is the fundamental, one of the myriad fundamental underlying misassumptions underlying the calorie myths, and that is the body is a fixed system. Like, it's not. The body is an adaptive organism, right? If you go outside and it's warm, you sweat. Your body isn't just like, my core body temperature is just going to raise indefinitely. Your body's like, oh my gosh, it's hot, so I'm going to do things to counteract that. If you, let's say, hypothetically, that you need 2,000 calories per day to maintain your weight. Okay, you need 2,000 calories of energy. What the traditional calorie myths tell us is if you eat 1,500 calories, you will continue to burn 2,000 calories, and therefore you will burn 500 calories of fat per day, and therefore you'll lose a pound of fat per week, right? That's the conventional theory.
But wait, if you can't calculate accurately how many calories you're burning, how do you ever know?
Well, not only that, Carrie, which is spot on, but that's actually just not true. It's not true that if you eat 2,000 calories and in response to eating 2,000 calories, you burn 2,000 calories, that's true in this situation. When you eat 2,000 calories, you burn 2,000 calories. What is false is when you eat 1,500 calories, you will continue to burn 2,000 calories, right? In fact, what your body will most likely do, and what studies show, is will simply burn 1,500 calories.
Right.
Because it will try to match calories in with calories out automatically. That's that regulation system within your body.
Right. So because our body is...
It is adaptive.
It's there to regulate. So it's trying to keep the status quo. And if you change what goes in, then it'll try and change that appropriately, relatively.
Exactly. And really,
how clever is that?
Well, and it's just, it's amazingly clever, and we all understand it with every other aspect of our lives. This is kind of a dumb example, but it's cool to see if you've not done this before. Go into your bathroom at home and stand right in front of the mirror and turn the lights. So go in with the lights off and have enough light in the room so you can see your pupils, the black part of your eye. And in the mirror, you'll notice that they're huge because it's a dark room. Flick the lights on and watch them shrink. It's a cool experience if you've never seen that before. But that's how every system in your body works, right? Like when there's less light coming into your eyeball, it's going to automatically try to take more light in. And when there's more light coming in, it kind of will close off and let less light in. When you take less energy into your body, it will conserve energy. And when you put more energy into your body, it will, for lack of better terms, waste energy. If you want to experiment with this, eat dramatically more food and notice how much more you go to the bathroom.
Got it.
More in means more out. Less in means less out. So literally, I was visiting my parents a few months ago, Carrie, and I was going to take a picture of this, and I should have, but I didn't. There was a sign at my mom's gym, which was like weight loss, simple. And it had like this little graph, which was, 2,000 calories in, 2,000 calories out, weight stays the same. 2,000 calories in, 2,500 calories out, or something like that, like weight goes down, and then blah, 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 like this, that anytime you see a chart, a graphic, anything like that, it is assuming the body is a fixed system. It's not. That's the difference between biology and math. Biology adapts to change, and that's why eating less will never work in a practical and permanent fashion.
Got it. And while we're on the subject, I have a lot of people who read my blog and they go for the recipes, and they email me and say, can I add the calories to the recipes so they know how many calories there are? And of course, I won't do that. One, because calorie math doesn't work and we don't count calories and we don't need to. But also, the problem is that I could calculate the calories in what I've made, but you have to bear in mind that if I'm using, for example, the specific whey protein powder that I use versus another brand, if you're using another brand, the caloric value of that is going to be different. So any calorie value I put on a recipe with my whey powder in is going to be different to yours. So automatically that number that I've given you is not true. If you're using different brands, if you're using different, there's so many variations within a recipe, particularly if you're using a different brand of a particular ingredient. To me, it makes that number useless. So yes, there's a number, but it may not be the same as the number you would get when you make that dish. And anyway, counting calories, we don't need to do it.
And building off what Carrie just said, so 2 other reasons she does not and will never, and nothing we ever put out will have calorie counts next to it. First thing is, this gets back to a show we did recently where we talked about when you eat sanely, you will naturally stop eating at an appropriate time period. So let's say Carrie gives you a recipe and it has 1,000 calories in it. That just means you will eat 1,000 fewer calories later in the day because your body will naturally stop eating when it's reached the amount of energy it needs. Your body is smart. So if you eat 600, the reason people think they need calorie counts is they think they can trick their body. They think that they can be like, I'm only going to eat brownies that have 100 calories. I'm going to have a 100 calorie snack pack, and that will make me eat whatever. I would normally eat 200 calories worth of Chips Ahoy cookies, but instead I'm going to eat 100 calories because I'm going to eat a 100 calorie snack pack, and my body is just going to be like, oh, that's fine. I'm okay with eating 100 fewer calories. That is false. You're either going to be hungry as hell, your metabolism is going to slow down, you're going to burn off your muscle tissue, or you're just going to eat the 100 calories from another source later. So why would Carrie ever give you a calorie count when your body is automatically going to count calories? And let's say if you eat a light breakfast, you're just going to eat a heavy dinner. Whereas if you eat a heavy breakfast, you'll naturally eat a light dinner. So that's why it's irrelevant. The other reason it's irrelevant is because Oh, I lost me. I don't remember the second one now. I should have written the second one down. Oh, man. Carrie, fill in the gap, and I will think of the second reason.
Well, do you want me to sing, or no? That wouldn't be a good option.
Well, friends, I'm sure I will remember it in the future. But the key thing, again, knowing the calorie count is irrelevant because you're not going to trick your body into not needing energy. Your body will continue to demand energy until it has it. And we just need to appreciate the brilliance and the automatic regulation that takes place in our body and ensure that we're eating the foods that facilitate that. But Carrie, back to calories out here for a second. We just talked about the first reason that calories out just can't be calculated, and it's irrelevant anyway, is that it's not fixed. And anything you do to calories in will automatically change calories out. So you're working against a moving target. But you really can't, taking a step back, you cannot calculate it. Like when you think about calories out, you think about things like, oh, how much did I move today? But you don't think about things like, how many calories did I burn digesting food? This is called diet-induced thermogenesis. And about the average person burns about 10% of the calories they burn throughout the course of the day just digesting food. And Carrie, as we know, we can manipulate the efficiency of calories and foods we eat, thereby increasing or decreasing that number. No heart rate monitor will tell you how many calories you burned digesting food.
Right.
And that's a big number.
There's so many variables in this. Why drive yourself mad with numbers that don't actually make sense and don't matter? It's crazy.
And it's also like just, I don't know if everyone understands just how little, like of the total number of calories we burn per day, about 70% or more have nothing to do with physical movement at all. Like your liver, just being your liver, burns like 500 to 600 calories per day, just from being a liver.
I'm sorry.
Do you know how much you'd have to jog to burn 500 calories?
600 calories a day. Sorry, that just amused me.
No. Well, and that's so. I mean, someone could say, okay, well, that's at least consistent. But another amazing burner of calories is your body rebuilding itself. So your body's constantly turning over protein, meaning it's just like rebuilding itself. This is called muscle protein synthesis. And one of the reasons we talk about doing resistance training and eating high quality protein in certain doses of 20 to 30 grams, depending on your body size, is so that you trigger muscle protein synthesis. Now you can imagine how many calories, so your body can build like 250 grams of new you per day. 250 grams of new body, basically every single day. Do you know how many calories it takes to build a person? A lot.
Yeah, I would think so.
A lot. For this is kind of a dumb example, but when a woman is growing another person, she eats a lot. There's a reason she eats a lot, because she is literally creating another human. Well, you don't have to be pregnant to build a person, because you're always rebuilding yourself if you're eating properly. And researchers estimate that if you trigger muscle protein synthesis at the rate at which would be optimal for health, which is anywhere from 3 to 6 times per day, simply synthesizing and creating the new healthy version of you can burn up to 1/3 of all calories you burn throughout the course of the day. So up to 700 calories a normal person would burn. Not only does it have nothing to do with physical movement, it's in no way calculable, because those are calories being burnt on these deep biological processes that are synthesizing, they're literally synthesizing new tissue.
That's amazing. I'm just sitting here in wonder now.
Well, and let's get even deeper with it, Carrie. So this just, again, the absurdity of trying to calculate calories. Say you're a bald man. I would imagine that growing hair also costs a lot of calories. So does becoming bald I mean, like, just again, like all of these things are people whose nails grow quickly.
They're going to get fat because they're no longer growing hair.
See, that's the fundamental problem. That's why you need to get hair transplants, because if you don't, you're not going to burn enough calories and you're going to gain weight, right? False.
That's funny. I like that one. I like that.
So just so much beautiful biology going on here, folks. So the first thing, we had 3 reasons. The first one we talked about was that anytime you manipulate anything about your body, everything else changes. It's a dynamic system.
And you can't stop that.
And you absolutely cannot stop that. You're exactly right, Carrie. So you're always working against a moving target. So why aim for that target? Because you ain't going to hit it. Secondly, it's like that target. So it's the visual here is, Carrie, okay, like there's this target and it's just moving. It's just moving crazy. You're trying to aim at it. You can't hit it. But we just talked about you can't calculate calories out anyway. So not only is that target moving around in the distance, but the room is also pitch black. So there's a target moving out there and you can't see it.
Awesome. Do you want to challenge people?
But here, the coup de grace, or the icing on the cake, or the xylitol sweetened icing on the coconut flour based cake, because we want to stay sane here, is that even if you did hit that moving target that you can't see, and you did consume fewer calories than you were burning, that does not mean you're going to burn body fat.
Ta-da!
It means your body will adapt in some way, right? We've talked about this law of thermodynamics previously. There is no law of thermodynamics. There's 4. The 2 that apply to energy balance tell us that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. It can only change forms. People who don't understand science say that proves that if you eat less and exercise more and you create a caloric deficit, meaning you're burning more calories than you're eating, you have to burn body fat. That's false.
And I know for a fact that ain't true, because I tried it for a long time, and I know a lot of you lovely listeners also did. So you know it's not true, because you've all eaten nothing and cycled for miles like me and gained weight.
And here's why it isn't true. So you've experienced it firsthand. We've all experienced it firsthand. When your body doesn't have enough energy, remember, it's an adaptive system. It will just burn fewer calories. So what the applicable laws of thermodynamics tell us is that if we enter a state of caloric deficit, our body will do something. They do not prove that something is burned body fat. And if we're eating the conventional high edible product, starch and sweet diet, it's literally impossible for our body to burn body fat, because when we have insulin flowing around in our bloodstream, you cannot burn body fat when insulin is produced in excess. So you can be in a caloric deficit all day and twice on Sunday, and if your insulin levels are going bonkers because you're eating too much sugar and starch, you ain't burning body fat. You're slowing your metabolism down and you're burning a bunch of muscle tissue. And if you want to doom someone to be sick and heavy for the rest of their life, slow down their base metabolism and burn off their muscle tissue. So that's why, please, please, please free yourself from these calorie myths. You are literally aiming at an incorrect, invisible moving target.
I may be your co-host and I may be sitting in the studio with you, but I love listening to you.
Yay!
You just make everything so clear and easy.
Well, Carrie, you've earned your paycheck for this week.
My what?
Yeah, I will. I'm going to quadruple your salary. Listeners, 4 times 0 is still 0. Note that my salary is also getting quadrupled and will also result in a net nothing increase. Well, but hopefully we have a net positive for this podcast, because I think this was fun and hopefully helpful for our listeners. Carrie, what do you think?
If it was helpful for me, I'm sure it was helpful for all our lovely listeners out in podcast listening land.
So remember, folks, your body is brilliant. It's beautiful. It's not broken. And it will seek to balance you out automatically, just like every other system in your body works. Remember, go in the bathroom, stare in the mirror, keep the lights off, turn the lights on, watch as your eyeball adapts, and understand that that's how the rest of your body works as well. Always adapting, beautiful, brilliant, just like you. Don't starve yourself. Don't shrink yourself. be the best version of yourself and eat more and exercise less. Just do that smarter. Chat with you soon.
See ya.
Wait, don't stop listening yet.
You can get fabulous free SANE recipes over at carriebrown.com.
And don't forget your 100% free eating and exercise quick start program, as well as free, fun, daily tips delivered right into your inbox at bailorgroup.com. That's BAILOR group.com.